so many different ways, but I think it's individual. So you've got to look around for what's good for you. So if I've got an athlete I coach, or if I'm working with patients, I'll give them a list of different things and try to get them to do that and motivate people to do that. So it's like almost a session within itself. One that you don't have much trouble is massage. So getting a massage, whether that be that you pay someone to do that or do that yourself. Like for runners, learn how to do your own massage, self-massage on your calves. I thought myself as a coach, I don't really massage my athletes very often. Once you start doing it as a coach, you sort of get locked into it. But I want to know more about it. I went off and did a course in Japanese massage, actually, called Zen Shiatsu, many years ago. But that was interesting because that took me into another area around pressure points and meridians and all that type of thing and how you recover. So that might be another way. So you use pressure points, and we're using things like massage balls and back balls and all of these types of things. Even a foam roller is a form of that, where we're actually releasing fascia. So that's another form of good recovery. Hydro massage, which you don't see much of now, but where you're actually massaging with water. But water in itself is a very relaxing medium to be in. So get yourself walking in water. You'll see footballers do it all the time. And we used to, when I was working in footy, we'd take the players back after a game and just get them to walk in water. It relaxes the muscle, it's moving. I think you recover best through movement, so I put them into water. Speaking of water, we've talked about hydration and having athletes hydrated pre and during and after a session. In terms of proper recovery, it's through nutrition. But when we get dehydrated, the cell not only becomes smaller, it becomes less permeable. So you might be taking in all the things you need, whether that be carbohydrates or protein, to recover. If the cell's not hydrated, it can't get in. So you're literally excreting that stuff that you're desperate for. Hydrate first, then fuel after. So that would be a simple one for people to get to. I'm a really big fan of contrast baths, so hot colds. So I've been involved in that for a long time. Actually, the what's it called, Melville, the stadium here, Melbourne Stadium, the cartoons. What are they? Marvel, and then I got it. Marvel Stadium. I was involved at the very beginning of that, and we were designing recovery areas in that. So there's hot colds. I worked with the Bombers here for 10 years a while ago, and we were brought in there for the first time, hot cold. So you spend time in a hot bath, generally as hot as you can stand, get into a cold one, as cold as you can stand. You could do it at home, have a hot shower, cold bath with ice in it, and finish on the cold. And now there's a lot of stuff coming out to just say even cold bath can help, especially with neural fatigue, which we've talked about. So they're looking at that in terms of fatigue-related illnesses and injuries in and around that area, is just doing cold stuff. Supplements is an interesting area for recovery. I think though, if your diet's crap, all you're doing is supplementing crap. But if your diet's pretty good, you can pick up any deficiencies there with supplementation. It's probably worthwhile even having a drop-in with your doctor every 6 months or so, particularly for distance runners. Get a blood test and get a broad one done to just see where things are, like say vitamin B, whether you need to supplement vitamin B. And if you're doing that, make sure you've got C, because the vitamin C helps the uptake of vitamin B. So look at those sort of things. We talked before about sleep. Just make sure that you're getting plenty of sleep, ventilated room, comfortable bed, right pillow, all of those sort of things. Look at other modes of relaxation you mightn't have tried before. Yoga might be something. Bikram yoga, being in a hot room might help you. Meditation class is good for some people. You could try that. There's different forms of massage you can get done, or treatment, and there's a whole area of people called reflexologists. Go and do a bit of reflexology and try that. Do something really novel for yourself. Give yourself a day off. Take a rest day. People just don't do the most simple things. Take a rest day. I've been involved with and a very big fan of skins, compression garments for a long time. They've been the leaders in that area for a long time, and there's research around to show that actually helps, especially for athletes that have to travel to wear compression garments on a flight, and sometimes even when you sleep, compression garments can be a worthwhile thing. Jumping around with your diet again, look at other simple things like turmeric and ginger. Those sort of additives into your food can actually help with being natural anti-inflammatories. There's foods that you can eat like, I can never really say the word, but it's an acai bowl. It's a trendy thing. Get in with all the trendy people, look like you know what you're doing in order that, you know, it's 1,000 times the antioxidant of normal fruits, or
Wow.
It's worth it. And you don't want to have it too much because it's pretty high in sugar, but it's a natural sugar, sucrose. But yeah, even so, I'm a big fan of that. Don't be afraid to take a nap during the day. Look at other things for yourself. A bit of research around things like aromatherapy can actually help with recovery. Take a salt bath. Your grandmother used to tell you to put Epsom salts in. There's actually proof that Epsom salts can help. The physio might have a device called an EMS unit. That stands for electromagnetic stimulation. That can help recovery. Ironically, sometimes when you've done a hard session, doing a light cardio session, just getting the blood through there, that can help. Now that might be as simple as a light jog or a walk, but just get the blood moving. Learn to meditate. Go and try acupuncture. Get someone to that's good at that sort of thing. We talked before about contrast showers. Another thing that people used to use a lot, but I still think there's a benefit in is hyperbaric treatment. That can be quite good. Do something different. Something you haven't had can lift your soul. If you spend all your time trapped in Sydney or Melbourne, take a drive. Go to the Blue Mountains or go to the Dandenongs. Just do something different. Go and live a life away from the track. We do things like, imagine what it'd be like if I won $5 million in that lottery last night. How would I live my life? And we can actually visualise the car that we buy, sometimes the person that we might attract with having that car, the type of house we buy, what the investments would be, how we could buy X for our children or whatever. That's called visualisation. Visualise your goals of running and it should come as easy as it just did. Visualising how you'd spend money that you're never going to win, but you can control whether you're going to perform to a large extent. Visualise that and use your relaxation time, your recovery time productively to visualise. So it can actually be a really helpful way. No particular reason, but an ice massage is another area that I don't think is used enough. You could use it along with, say, foam rollers, but you just get the old polystyrene cups or even a cardboard cup, put them in the freezer with water, and then you pick the bottom off. It's like a deodorant stick, but it's ice, and you give yourself an ice massage. Very effective, especially if you've got issues. And another one that could be quite useful if you've got issues with your feet, get a Coke bottle, because it's got the ribbing of the glass bottle, and fill it with water, freeze it, and then you've got an ice way of massaging out things like plantar fascia. Just simple things for recovery, keep your body in tip-top condition. That's a few that I can think of, but there's a lot more.